Good day, ladies and gentlemen, fellow educators, and all the audience that are watching this video on YouTube. My name is Yazid Al-Muntashir, and I'm standing here as the first speaker from the opposition team. And I would like to talk about today's motion, which is this House preferred strategy of pushing for institutional reform to address police abuse and misconduct rather than defunding the police. On this motion, defunding the police, it means to relocate the funding that the police department get into other department. For example, the health department, the education department, and social department. But before I would like to jump into my main arguments, I would like to give two rebuttals into the first speaker from the government team. The first speaker from the government team said that they want to change the system by reducing the staff, the police, and also the amount of weaponries that they get. I like to rebut that on his argument. He also stated that it is important to have significant numbers of police in the area with high crime rates. We have to underline that he stated that it is important to have significant numbers, maybe a lot of numbers, because it is significant of numbers. But he also stated before that they want to change the system, so they will reduce the police. So it's contradictive. It's not the same way what he said it before. And also, I would like to jump into my second rebuttal, which is he stated that they want to put cameras on body bag, on every body, main body of the policeman. But what I like to rebut is that how if the camera broken, or how if the camera got stolen by maybe a vigilant, by a criminal or a robber, something like that, or even if the police himself hides the camera, then is there any punishment or something like that? Okay. So I'd like to jump into my arguments. I have two arguments, and let's jump into the first one. The first one is that safety and security is not everything. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. As we all know, on this era, on 2020, we have a really bad year. We have really have a bad year. Coronavirus hit us, and this pandemic really hits us hard on the economy and all of other factors. What I want to say is that there are still a lot of departments that still needed funding rather than the police department. Why did I say that, ladies and gentlemen? Because as we all know, on this pandemic, health is the most important thing. Ladies and gentlemen, police funding in Indonesia reached 90.32 trillion in 2020. That is in rupiah. It is according to Outlook. Whilst in healthcare, in Indonesia healthcare in 2019, according to CNN, it is 123.1 trillion, and it's rise 13% in 2020 to 132.2 trillion. So what I like to say is that healthcare department needs more money. So why don't we defund the police department into the healthcare department, ladies and gentlemen? As we all know that the healthcare department more money to serve the patient, to make more good infrastructure for the hospital and all of other stuff, and also make the vaccine, so at least that this pandemic will end very soon. So and then, ladies and gentlemen, on from the social department, ladies and gentlemen, poverty hits Indonesia really hard during this pandemic. In 2019, there is 24.79 million people that is affected by poverty, whilst there are 26.42 million people that are affected by the poverty. So it is rising to a million people that is affected by poverty. Then why don't we relocate the police funding into the social department? And also, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we also defund the police department into the education department? Why did I say that? Because according to healthcare triage, it is estimated that the total additional expenses in average school, this is for one school, ladies and gentlemen, in a district will incur to reopen safely is over $1.7 million. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know that there's a lot of public facilities that are opening, and also schools are talked about to be reopened again. So the budget is going to be 1.7 million to reopen school safely. That is for one school. How about a school in a whole district? How about in a whole nation? That's going to be a lot of money. So we have to think about defunding this police department. And also, ladies and gentlemen, in New York City, the mayor, Bill de Blasio, according to the Sun, he also defunded the police on the police department with the budget of US dollar, it is in US dollar, 480 million or 7 trillion in rupiah for education purposes. So right now I'd like to jump into my second argument, is that there is no guarantee that there will be less police abuse and also misconduct if we change the system. Why did I say this, ladies and gentlemen? It is because it's not about the system, it is about the police itself. It is how they treat others, it is how they do things, how they interact with others. If they're arrogant, then there will be then they will feel more like, oh, people need me, then I have to serve other people, blah 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 blah, and so all of that stuff. That is according to the police character. How can I say before? Like what I said before, that safety is not everything, because as we all know that education needs is more important than safety. Health, it is more important than safety. Social, like poverty, it is more important than safety. Well, if we took into consideration on all of my arguments and also my rebuttals, that the strategy of pushing for institutional reform to address police abuse and misconduct is not very good. It is not the best way we could do. If we ever implement that, then it will be even worse than defunding. It will be more worse, because if we defund the police department, it is more better than we can defund it into other sector of the department that we have, ladies and gentlemen, like schools, and then we have healthcare, and then we have social. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we look into consideration, safety is not everything. Everybody needs health. Everybody needs everybody needs to get away from poverty. Everybody needs to get well educated, and also looking all of the factors. And also, there's no guarantee that there will be less police abuse and also misconduct if we change the system. Like what I said before, it's not about the system, it's about how the police treat others. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Yazid Al-Muntashir, standing here as the first speaker from the opposition team, and I negate to this motion, which is this House prefer the strategy of pushing for institutional reform to address police abuse and misconduct rather than defunding the police department. And all in all, thank you.